Imagine seeing a red rose. A neuroscientist can trace every signal in your brain, but none of that explains the feeling of red. Why is there something it is like to be you? That is the hard problem of consciousness. The hard problem of consciousness begins with a simple yet profound observation. We can describe every physical process in the brain, yet the subjective experience itself remains elusive. Philosopher David Chalmers coined the term in 1995 to highlight a critical gap. While scientists can explain how the brain processes information, they cannot explain why there is a first-person perspective at all. This is the ghost in the machine, the feeling that something more than neurons is at work. It's a mystery that challenges the very foundations of science because it suggests that the objective world of physics may not be the whole story. Consciousness feels like a private, inner universe, and that feeling is the hard problem. The roots of this puzzle stretch back to René Descartes in the 17th century. He famously argued that mind and matter are separate substances, a dualism that modern science has rejected. But Descartes identified a crucial intuition. The subjective realm seems categorically different from the physical world. As neuroscience advanced, the problem was set aside, not solved. Behaviorism and cognitive science treated the mind as an information processing system, dismissing subjective experience as a mere side effect. Yet this left an explanatory gap. Nobel laureate Francis Crick claimed that all our joys and sorrows are just the behavior of nerve cells. But that claim is astonishing precisely because it leaves out the experience itself. To understand the hard problem, you must first know what it is not. The easy problems are about functions, how the brain discriminates stimuli, integrates information, reports mental states, or controls behavior. These are difficult but solvable by standard science. The hard problem asks, why do these functions come with a subjective inner life? Imagine a perfect robot that can do everything a human does, navigate a room, recognize faces. Say, I see red. Would it feel anything? Many intuit it would not. It would be a philosophical zombie, a perfect behavioral copy with no inner light. Chalmers argues that such a zombie is conceivable, proving that consciousness is not logically entailed by physical facts alone. It demands its own explanation. While the hard problem seems purely philosophical, it has driven a massive empirical research program, the Search for the Neural Correlates of Consciousness, or NCC. The idea is to identify which brain events are consistently associated with conscious experience. This is a correlational approach, not an explanatory one, but it has yielded fascinating data. One powerful experiment is binocular rivalry. When you show a different image to each eye, say, a red house to one and a green face to the other, the brain cannot fuse them. Perception alternates. You consciously see the house, then the face, then back. The visual input is constant, but the experience changes. Using fMRI, researchers found that activity in the fusiform face area correlates with seeing a face, while the parahippocampal place area correlates with seeing a house. This tells us where, but not how. The search for neural correlates is valuable, but it hits a fundamental wall. Knowing that activity in the fusiform face area correlates with seeing a face does not explain why that activity feels like anything at all. We can map every synapse and every spike, but the subjective quality, the what it is like, remains a mystery. This is the explanatory gap. Some researchers propose that consciousness is an emergent property of complex systems, but emergence itself is just a label for something we don't understand. Others suggest that consciousness is a fundamental feature of the universe, like mass or charge. But either way, the hard problem persists. The brain's machinery could, in theory, run in the dark, processing data without any inner awareness. Why doesn't it? That question haunts every neuroscientist. The hard problem of consciousness is not a puzzle to be solved with better technology alone. It is a challenge to our entire scientific worldview. Science excels at explaining objective, third-person phenomena, things that can be measured from the outside. But consciousness is inherently first-person. It is the one thing we cannot observe from the outside. This creates a unique impasse. Some philosophers argue that we need a new kind of science, one that takes subjective experience seriously as a primary datum. Others believe that a future theory of consciousness will bridge the gap, perhaps through integrated information theory or panpsychism. But for now, the hard problem remains the most profound and unsettling question in all of science. It is the ghost that refuses to be exorcised. The hard problem reminds us that the most familiar thing, our own consciousness, is also the most mysterious. If you found this valuable, share it with someone who loves a good mystery.